Welcome to episode 89 of the Clive Barker podcast with Ryan Danhauser, that's me, and Jose Leitao, and Rob Ridenour joins us again. So this one we talked about the Dark Regions Press Midnight Meat Train book.
Hey, this is Ryan. If you listen to the show, you might know that I'm a realtor in Fairbanks, Alaska. So we have this vast audience, but I only know of one of our listeners who lives in Fairbanks, Alaska. Hi, Ross. Did you know you can help me by letting me find you a realtor in your part of the country or world? I have access to networks of realtors, and many of them I know from past experience as a board president and state realtor board member. The best part is it won't cost you anything. After talking with you, I get a sense of what type of person would be a good fit for you, and when I match you together, I get paid a portion of the commission after you buy or sell a property. If you're looking to move or buying property and you'd like me to help you find a realtor that fits your needs, feel free to contact me through the site or call me directly at 907-978-2607. Thanks. So welcome to episode 89 of the Clive Barker podcast. Today we've got Rob Ridenour and Jose Leitao, and I'm Ryan Danhauser. So Rob, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, nothing much. Just going to get back into school. And I've been just reading Clive Barker stuff. Still reading Weave World. I'm about done with that.
Oh, wow.
And just got done reading the screenplay last night from the Midnight Meat Train special edition from Dark Regions.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. And
what about y'all? What have y'all been up to?
I have a little bit of a cold, so my voice may be a little different. I may be a little coffee a little bit. So yeah. But I've been fine. I've been doing a video for the YouTube channel, the Barkercast YouTube channel on YouTube. Cool. I did an unboxing video for the Midnight Meat Train book from Dark Regions Press, which we will put up after we have this podcast episode. And cool, I'm still working on starting to record the Undying gameplay walkthrough.
Oh, awesome.
Cool. I haven't forgotten about that. I've actually been testing out some setups for recording while playing because I have a laptop, so it's not a huge machine by any sense of the word. But and I've been playing Tomb Raider, the 2013 edition.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I have a question about recording because I've been thinking about playing the Nightbreed games on the Amiga.
Sure.
Is there a thing, because I've got a converter box for the Amiga that changes the RGB signal to, which is like proprietary to HDMI. Is there some kind of a box that you can put on that goes in between like an HDMI signal so that you can record?
I am not sure.
That would be kind of cool if you could put something like that in there with like SD cards or something.
I'm sure I can help you find solutions to record that from because that's an old game and it's an old computer. Yeah. You're actually playing on an Amiga, right?
Yeah.
You're not emulating it or anything. So if you emulated it, that would be definitely more easier to record on your computer. Yeah. But the way you're doing it, that might be a little more tricky, but I can help you find that.
Well,
afterwards.
A lot of times with emulation, you have to, on a Mac, you got to do like 2 levels of emulation because you have to run Windows first and then run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
sure.
Plus I'm not a huge fan of emulation because it's not always exactly the same.
That's true. The graphics are different sometimes.
Yeah. And the sound will lag and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I'd like to, if there's something that I could just, like a little box to put in between, like the HDMI's, kind of in the chain.
Sure, let's try to find out about that. It'd be nice if we could put the Nightbreed game playthrough on the YouTube channel.
Although it wouldn't be a play all the way through because those games are super hard.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
You always get caught by Pelican before.
Yeah. Everybody has a hard time with.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, because you're just supposed to waggle the joystick back and forth to like imitate running.
Uh-huh.
So, and they don't really give you very good feedback on what's the right like pace, I guess, to do that.
I guess it's usually as fast as possible.
Well, that's what you would think, but I don't think that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, sorry.
It's because I think you're supposed to match the artwork on the screen. I don't know. It's kind of a pain. Yeah. So anyway,
but I'd like to see that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes. Well, I bought it for $1, like back when Commodore went out of business. I got it in a bargain bin.
Wow.
So Clive Barker news. I think over half of our news this time around is all Scarlet Gospels updates.
Yes.
So starting with the beginning, there was the deluxe edition from Earthling Press went on sale. So there was a pre-order for it. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think of that? They also announced the details of what was going to be in it.
I think it sounds nice. I can't buy it. That's the only problem.
Yeah, I was looking at that and thinking, man, well, and especially because it's got a previously unpublished short story, so that's like a pretty good hook for me. But
yeah, me too.
It's $250.
Yeah,
and I was really hoping it'd be more like $40.
I'm going to be happy with a hardcover that's $25.99, to be honest.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future, of course. I mean, I've bought books years after they came out. Especially the hardcover versions. I mean, I usually started with paperback versions. I think pretty much the majority of fans would buy paperbacks. But then once you start getting more into the whole, universe of the author, then you decide that, maybe it's time to buy some hardcovers because these are the really cool books. They have like extras and they have like hardcovers and dust jackets and they look nice on the shelf. So that's when you start buying it. Usually I go to eBay. Yeah. But for now, I think I'm just going to buy the hardcover, $25.99. I think I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get whatever package they have at realclivebarker.com.
Sure. Those are usually very interesting and signed.
Yeah. So let's see. So the pre-orders are up. There was one. Let's see, more Scarlet Gospels news. I forget what that one was. I'll have to click on it.
They're offering the Scarlet Gospels with the first tales. It's like
at Dark Regions. Yeah. So Dark Regions is offering. That's kind of a cool idea.
But it's $300. So
yeah. So Dark Regions isn't just a publisher; they're also a bookseller. So they'll sell books that they aren't necessarily publishing.
Yeah.
What else have we got here?
Trade paperback news for the UK. Yeah. They're going to release the paperback. It's the same day as the hardcover edition.
Yeah, isn't that strange? Usually that happens like 6 months later. Kind of like.
Well, this isn't being published by HarperCollins anymore, so it's smaller companies. I guess they just go as quickly as they can to release it to capitalize on the interest.
Yeah, and then there was a plot summary revealed for Scarlet Gospels, which I knew maybe half of that already, but I didn't. I don't know if do we want to skip reading that so that we aren't forcing people to hear spoilers.
I remember back when we were talking about the date being set for this, and the first time it showed up on Amazon. I think I remember us talking about the synopsis that was on Amazon, right?
Yeah, and this one is slightly different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more detail.
Let's read it.
Okay.
Well, and it says in the novel, this is the plot summary, in the novel, a friend of Harry D'Amour's is taken hostage by Pinhead, and Harry is accompanied by 4 mismatched companions and an animal, and must track down his friend into the lowest levels of hell. Much will be learned about the nature of hell, its creator, its inhabitants, and about the order of the gash and Pinhead's place within it. So
well, I think I know who the friend is because from interviews, Norma Payne, right? The blind psychic.
That's not very nice.
No.
Well, but that came out like ages ago that Norma Payne was going to be that character, and the animal, of course, is a dog.
Well, I thought that she was going to be with him, but I didn't know that she was kidnapped.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I recall in several occasions that they let that detail out. That's probably going to be Norma Payne. Yeah,
and I remember about the dog.
Yeah, the dog in hell.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's not too spoilery, I guess.
I'm super stoked about this book because, I love the Hellbound Heart. I love Hellraiser, 1 through 4, and I always wanted to see more. I always wanted Clive Barker to develop more in the literary universe of Hellraiser. I wanted him to explain, how did the box come to be? Who are the Cenobites? Who is Leviathan? Leviathan is not even mentioned in the Hellbound Heart, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Leviathan's going to be in this anywhere.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
That's not really Clive Barker's invention, right?
It's more of a Peter Atkins kind of invention, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what comes out of this. I've heard that Jesus and Lucifer might end up showing up in the Scarlet Gospel. So I'm curious to see what Clive Barker is going to do with this.
Yeah. Well, and a lot has been changed and a lot's been thrown out and started over. So we don't really know.
I guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah. So Chris McCorkindale will be at Mad Monster Party. So if anybody remembers, we kind of got Occupy Midian got started from Mad Monster Party, and so this kind of come full circle a little bit now that the director's cut's been released, and Chris McCorkindale's kind of enjoyed a little bit of the
fame.
The fame of the convention circuit and stuff, and bringing that character back to life, I guess, or representing Shuna Sassy. So that's pretty cool.
She's trying to get her ceramics store going as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And if I could just put in a footnote here, it's really cool that on Occupy Midian group on Facebook, our friend Philippe Onell from Sweden, he found on YouTube this video of a fan of Nightbreed who has tried his hand at making the love scene between Shuna Sassy and Pelican.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, it's really good. He put it in context, like in the part where Laurie is walking through Midian, and then, of course, there's no sound to the dialogue that Pelican and Shuna Sassy are having, but he put music on top of it. It kind of works really well. It's really cool. Go check it out.
Well, and one interesting thing is, and I admit that I'm wrong because somebody started writing to me about how disappointed he was that scene wasn't in the movie, and he said, they cut out Shuna Sassy's dialogue, and I told him I don't think that she had any more dialogue.
Right. I think it was just her laughing and
But he pointed out a scene in the script, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's in the script, but that doesn't mean they filmed it. But it looked like there was a little bit of dialogue right at the end there.
It looked like it. Yeah, because she's talking. In the movie, we just get that scene where Pelican says, guess he couldn't take the heat. But there's something...
Yeah, there's some dialogue about the seventh savior and stuff like that in the script. And he pointed out that part of the script to me, and I was like, well, I mean, even if I am wrong, which I probably am wrong, maybe they did really film some more dialogue because it kind of looks like it, but that sound is gone. So, I mean, it was never in the Cabal cut, so they had nowhere to find it.
Right, exactly. So they only had motor-only shots, MOS. So maybe one day, maybe who knows? Maybe someday, kind of unlikely unless.
Actually get the actors to do the lines or something again.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. That would be a great idea,
I actually sent that clip to the actress through Facebook, and she was like, oh, I love this. This is great to see.
Oh, that's cool.
And she had said she had actually flubbed those lines because she was really scared of the snakes. So I think there was some dialogue that they did do, but she
okay.
Just really I think she said she kind of did a bad job of doing it or something. She was kind of scared.
She was the first person to say when during the interview that she was that she's not an actress, that she's a dancer and a performer. But
yeah.
So the next one, Leviathan, the story of Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2. That documentary, he had Gary Smart on our podcast had originally said it was going to be about 4 hours long or 3 hours long, I think.
Yeah.
But now it looks like it's going to be 2 movies, one about Hellraiser and one about Hellraiser 2, and each one is going to be 3 hours, so a total of 6 hours.
Oh man, that's the best news I've had all day.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I was always wondering because I'm sorry, they were. When we talked to Gary Smart on the podcast, he was telling us how many hours of footage they've recorded of interviews with every single actor and crew member, and I was like, yeah, but then, like for example, you have like maybe 1 or 2 hours with Doug Bradley, but then for the documentary you have to, cut that down to like maybe 20 minutes overall.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not jealous of the editor who has to do that because that's got to be really hard because. He said it's like 40 hours of footage they have. Yeah, so that's great that they're going to be able to make 2 movies. I'm very happy about that. That's a great development.
Yeah,
they'll probably have extended interviews and like maybe a special feature section or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that like Johnny there's an interview with Johnny Raymond, and that's going to be in the special features because he wasn't exactly directly involved with the Hellraiser movies. But yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, they have an extra about Clive Barker's artwork.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Candyman soundtrack LP, so at realclivebarker.com, the Clive Barker store, they're going to be selling some of the records of the soundtrack, of the Candyman soundtrack.
That's beautiful. I really love it. I saw a picture. I don't know if you guys can explain this to me. I didn't have time to read the article, and I saved it for later, but I saw an LP that was like part black, part yellow.
I thought the whole thing was yellow.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then I could swear I saw like a photo of this album where it was part black, part yellow. Maybe I just didn't see it properly. But I could swear I saw that picture. I'll try to find it.
Well, the picture that Rob used in the article, it's all the record is all yellow.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah. I've not seen that, but it's possible.
Yeah,
I wanted to add to that about the limited edition. You can still get the vinyl, but it's not this, not the yellow.
Oh, not the honey one.
But you can go through Amazon, and they still have the regular vinyl soundtrack, and I think it's under $30. So
cool.
There's still some out there.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting another record player because I don't have one. I think most people out there. Probably don't even own one anymore.
I don't.
Yeah, because sometimes they
I'd like to get one though.
They break, and you just put them in a closet, and you never use it again. So yeah, and nowadays there's plenty of record players you can get that also help you translate vinyl to digital. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the record on the store anymore. They don't even have a section for something like that.
It was Light in the Attic.
I'm on the Real Clive Barker store.
Okay.
Yeah, because they had like only 100, that they were advertising for sale, and maybe they all sold.
And what's the catch for the Real Clive Barker store? Are they signed or something?
I don't think so, but I think they had the honey yellow ones.
Okay, cool.
But maybe Maybe they must be all gone by now.
So, and side A, I'm looking at the picture. Side A has Music Box, Cabrini Green. Actually, these are both sides. Music Box, Cabrini Green, Ellen's Theme, Face to Razor, Floating Candyman, Return to Cabrini, and It Was Always You, Ellen. So the basic good tracks from Candyman are all in here. So
that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So that's it for news, unless you can think of anything else.
No. Nothing.
Okay.
I've not seen anything new today.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've announced that we're going to have these special features on the blog, like Weekly 5, Collector's Corner.
Yeah. So we have that next, the site news.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, for people who only listen to our podcast and you haven't gone to our site, you should maybe go check those things out. We've got a whole bunch of new features now, along with all of the news that Rob's been doing. I did a couple of weekly fives. One, actually, Rob did one that was his 5 favorite books of blood stories.
Yeah.
And then I did a collector's corner that was all about the Magica trading card game. I did the 5 things to read before the Scarlet Gospels for a weekly 5. I did a collector's corner about Jump Tribe. And
I did a Tuesday Tunes for Bill Brown's great soundtrack for Undying, the game.
Yeah, and I did enjoyed a couple of those also, a couple of Tuesday Tunes. Yeah, that was really cool.
All that stuff.
I might do a collector's corner next with the boxes of the Nightbreed director's cut that were signed by Clive Barker.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Oh yeah, nice.
Thankfully sent to us by Century Guild and Thomas Nicoven, so thank you.
Yeah, so definitely check out the website if you haven't been there. If you've just, I know I listen to a lot of podcasts and I don't necessarily go to the web, the corresponding website, but we've got a lot of cool stuff there. And, especially if you like, if you're listening to this, you probably like Clive Barker news and like thinking about it and talking about it, and you can leave comments and stuff. Go check it out.
Yeah, and about the Candyman soundtrack, I just wanted to say that I'm looking at the website for A Light in the Attic Records right now. And it says here, out of stock formats, LP, $20. But you can still buy the tape, cassette tape for $7.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even have a cassette player anymore. Can you? Yeah. Where could you get something like that? I mean, just an old, maybe secondhand shop or something like that. Yeah, Amazon.
Yeah. There's still stuff out there.
I used to have a record player that was a cassette player, cassette deck with a record player on the top.
Or you can buy an old car.
Yeah, and it had a phono out, so I would run that into the computer, and that's how I recorded the Hellbound Heart book on tape, and made it into an audiobook.
Sure.
Oh, cool.
But now you can actually just buy the audiobook version of that, but, for 20 years you couldn't, so.
Right.
Okay. Well, I have a cold too, so I'm going to sound a little bit nasally also.
I'm sorry, guys. I hate that for y'all.
I guess it's something going around.
Yeah.
But, Dark Regions Press, they put out this hardcover of Midnight Meat Train, which is really nice, except I have a few complaints about my hardcover in particular. Yeah, but it's awesome. It's got the short story from the Books of Blood. It's got color illustrations inside of paintings done by Clive Barker. It's got a lot of forewords and afterwords and introductions and essays. And it has the script of the movie along with storyboards. So the thing I complain about is that my cover, in my hardcover, when they bound the book, they shifted the cover a little bit to the left. So on the spine, the letters on my spine, they're off-center. And the back cover is also off-center because the letters in my back cover, they're just on the edge of the hardcover.
Oh.
Yeah, and in the front cover, you can see that there's a black bar going down the right side of the cover.
So are you talking about on the dust jacket then, or on the cover itself?
No, I only have the I have the unsigned gift hardcover edition. That's my edition. Oh, it doesn't have a dust jacket.
Oh, okay. So it has the cover on the actual cover of the book.
Yeah, on the hardcover book. So that's my only complaint about the book, but I really loved it. Like I said, I did the unboxing video. I went through it a little bit, and I'm going to let you guys take it off.
Okay. Well, and I have the limited to 450, signed hardcover, and mine is number 88.
Mine is number 75.
Oh,
yeah, I have that same thing.
Yeah, but no, I really love this book. Yeah, I could see that being an issue. I mean, it's not. I don't think that's an issue on the one that we have.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm trying. I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a picture.
I hate that.
The title is a little close to the top of the spine, but not really that bad.
I remember I talked to you when I got this book, Ryan. I told you that I showed you that the letters in my cover were starting right on the edge, and I was like, I don't know, it looks weird.
Yeah.
I'll add a picture to the show notes.
Yeah. Well, we can do that.
Maybe I can even ask Dark Regions if they can replace it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Why not?
Yeah, unless they're all like that.
Hopefully not.
So I guess let's start with the introduction. There's an introduction by Phil and Sarah Stokes called "First Stop on the Highway of the Dead." So meaning that because it was the first story in the first real story in the Books of Blood after the bookend Book of Blood story.
Yeah.
So it's the first one that they're reading on the skin of the dead
Simon
guy,
McNeil.
of Simon McNeil. Yeah. I thought it was interesting, and I probably have read this before, and I'd maybe forgotten that Bernard Rose had tried to make Candyman 2 Midnight Meat Train.
Yes.
He tried to combine Candyman 2 and Midnight Meat Train, and it was really funny reading that he went through the entire pitch of the movie, and then after he was all done, Clive Barker says, "Where's Candyman in all of this?"
Yeah, no, it says, pardon me. He's like, pardon me for asking me, where's Candyman feeling? Where's Candyman in all of this?
Yeah, and I would love to have seen his response to that, because it's funny, because those were Bernard Rose's words, and it's like, okay, so, what's the answer? I want to know too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it would have been good, or maybe he shouldn't have done that. I have no idea.
And also, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say maybe Bernard Rose was really trying to get the Midnight Meat Train off the ground, and was just using maybe Candyman as a way to maybe make that story.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion on that. I don't think that is
Sure. And also, did you get this from the first essay in the book, The First Stop on the Highways of the Dead by Phil and Sarah Stokes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they also mention other directors who were involved with this project. One of them was Patrick Tatopoulos. So apparently that was the first director attached to the movie project that became the Midnight Meat Train.
Right, and he was also involved with
Saint
Sinner, yeah.
Yeah. He was a special effects guy who did Independence Day, and he's a really cool guy. That's what it says right here.
Yeah.
But eventually, things 2 years later, they ended up choosing Rue Kitamura as the director. So.
Well, before that, there was actually David Campbell Wilson was set up to do a movie in the mid-90s of the
called
Midnight
The Red
Meat
Line.
Train. Yeah, the Red Line.
Oh, okay.
And then Mark Pavia and Jack O'Donnell also had another treatment, and Clive Barker was at the time working with Disney trying to get Aberrat off the ground, and so he was like, "Yeah, let's ease off of the Midnight Meat Train while I'm talking to the people at Disney."
Okay.
So then that one didn't go anywhere either, and then then he went with Patrick Tatopoulos, and they were all they were trying to do the Midnight Meat Train. And what I thought was really interesting is Lionsgate. Some producer from the studio said, you need to get a Japanese director because that's what's hip right now or whatever, and get rid of that other director and Patrick Tatopoulos and actually. As much as I hate what Lionsgate did to the movie later on, it seems like that was a really good choice.
Yeah, because there were different people handling this project, right? One of the persons who was handling this at Lionsgate retired, and then the other exec that took his place didn't like this project.
Yeah, he pushed his own movie. What was that one with the people with the animal masks? That home invasion movie.
The Purge? I don't know.
No, it was like The Others or
The Others,
I think. Or Don't Come... I forget. It's like this family...
Strangers.
Yeah, Strangers. This family is getting terrorized by these people wearing animal masks that break in. And
little known fact...
Go ahead.
Okay. Little known fact that I'm sure Ryan will know is that Rui Kitamura, he was the director of Godzilla Final Wars.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a connection to Godzilla there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool! I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Midnight Meat Train came out, I went and rented his other... I mean, I already had Final Wars, but I went out and rented, what was that? There's that movie...
I've seen Versus. I had seen Versus.
Yeah, that's the one I went out and rented after that. I saw
Oh, that's cool, because that's also the one I'd seen before Midnight Meat Train. So
yeah.
that was cool, yeah.
I saw Final Wars as soon as it came out on video, but... Man, the movie is so graphic and so like in your face. And I think one we'll probably talk about the movie during the screenplay a little bit, but one thing that really kind of affected me is the way they would move you into the point of view of the person that was getting hammered.
Sure, yeah.
Holy cow.
That really gave you a sense of immersion in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and not something that you see very often in horror movies. It's like horror movies have sort of become a little bit escapist, and it's like you can't. It's not escapism. It's the opposite. When you're almost tricked into feeling the effects of these people getting killed.
Sure. And what I like best about this book is some people might ask, hey, I already have the Books of Blood. I've read the story.
Yeah.
Why should I buy this book? Well, I think what I would tell those people is because this is a complete package of a lot of information about the story that you won't get if you just read it from the Books of Blood.
Yeah.
My voice is cracking a little bit. But it's got color paintings. It's got the poster inside. It's got the script of the movie. It's got storyboards. It has a bunch of pages of storyboards. Like pages 184 to 197 are just storyboards from scenes of the movie.
Yeah.
It's got movie stills. It's got pictures of the meat packing facility. It's just interspersed with all these interesting things and all of these essays and introductions by people who worked in the movie.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea of how thorough Phil and Sarah are, after they did that introduction essay for this book, they have 2 pages of references for their introduction.
Yeah.
Which tells you how detailed they are. They're very detailed about the stuff that they write.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically what I would tell these people is that this not only explains to you how the story came about from the time when Clive Barker was writing the Books of Blood. You have a story at the end. You have a little afterword at the end where Clive Barker is explaining how he got the idea for the Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
Like he was once visiting New York and he got into a train that he thought was going to go just to, he thought it was a regular train that was going to stop in all the stations. So he was just going to use that train to explore the city. It turns out he got like an express train to Rockaway Beach or Far Rockaway or whatever.
Yeah, so it skipped all the stops.
Yeah, so it skipped. I hope I'm not spoiling anything, but yeah. So anyway, that's one of the. It's got pictures of him drawing the cover of the book, the painting that's on the cover, and it's got hand sketches from Clive Barker, and it's got all this stuff. I mean, it's just all you want to know about the Midnight Meat Train is in this book.
Yeah. Yeah. And then. I agree. I think, and I was one of those skeptical people too. When this was first announced, it's like, yeah, that's definitely a luxury item. I don't think that I need to buy that. But then the more I read about it, it's like, all right, yeah, I'm going to get it. Because it makes sense. Because really, the story is only maybe a third of the or less, maybe a quarter of what's in this book. Because there were like 200 pages in here, and the story is only 30 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest is the script and all these essays and introductions and stuff. So you can get a feel out of that detail that, 30 pages of story, but then almost 200 pages of other stuff about the story, which I'm always very crazy about this stuff. I like to read biographies. I like to read, what was the inspiration to do, X and Y and Z, artwork. It really fascinates me to know the process behind these things.
What did you guys think of the introduction by Jeff Bueller?
I thought that was pretty cool. where he talks
the introduction
about,
to the script.
Yeah,
that's the screenwriter, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I met him. I thought he was a really cool guy, but he it seemed like he sort of felt overshadowed by Clive Barker at that signing that I went to. So he was really kind of quiet. I mean, he signed the posters and stuff, and everybody had piles of stuff for Clive Barker to sign, and then Jeff Bueller would just be signing like posters and DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. But he was a pretty cool guy. But one thing that bugged me in his introduction is he said, "Do you remember the character Jurgis?" Yeah,
the best friend of Leon.
Yeah. So in his introduction, he says Jurgis is somebody in on the conspiracy that would sort of guide Leon, towards the world of the subway slaughter and all that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. And I was reading that. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember Jurgis getting killed in the closet in the movie. And then so I was like, well, maybe the screenplay is a little different. And as I'm reading through the screenplay, it's like, nope, he still gets killed in the closet Yeah,
I sometimes they change these things as they go along, but
yeah,
I think that
Susan becomes more of Susan, the art lady, I think is more of like in on the conspiracy in the script. But I don't. I think they cut that stuff out in the movie.
Yeah, they talk about that on the commentary. Yeah. I was listening to the movie last night, and the director said they cut that out because they didn't want it to just turn into like a paranoia type of movie, like who knows what, and so they cut that out.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Rosemary's Baby, where everybody knows everything except for one character.
I think he was trying his best to give the Midnight Meat Train its own like twist.
Yeah.
But some of the third act for me kind of falls on its face a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah. In the script or the movie or both?
In the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that the strongest part of the original Books of Blood story is the third act of the story, the ending.
The reveal?
Yeah, the reveal. When they stop at the station, it's a white tiled station, and it's like it looks like a meatpacking plant or something. And then he goes out and he discovers the city fathers and all that. I'm not going to spoil it, but
what did you think of the script ending?
It was a lot closer to the book.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly the same, right? Because the city grandfather is what they called it in the script, I think, right?
Yeah.
And it turned out to be like this giant. So this like tunnel wall was really like his arm.
Yes.
And then he like grabbed Maya's heart and ate it. And that was interesting. It wasn't like this blob that was too hard to figure out when you're looking at it, which was what it was in the story. Kind of like the Iad Ouroboros, I guess.
Yeah, it was going to be a little too Hellraiser for me, like chains and chains pulling people apart and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They show the storyboards for that.
They do. They do have the storyboards. I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah, really where cool. You can see Maya, like her entire chest is pulled open, so you can see her lungs and stuff.
I liked it more in the story in the Books of Blood because it's a little more Lovecraftian in a way.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're more scared of things you can't even recognize or understand.
Yeah.
And I think that Lovecraftian property of the city father, of the first American, I think that's what sends Leon over the edge. And and in this ending, I don't think that would be that clear.
Yeah, the ending feels really compromised because the studio executives were like, get rid of all of this crap. We just want him to be a subway slasher.
Yeah.
And they and Kitamura and Clive Barker talked them into getting a little bit more of the city fathers in there, but not like what was in the script.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the director said he would quit if they didn't let him do that. He said he'd walk off.
Yeah, which is cool.
I haven't rewatched the movie for this podcast, but
I didn't either.
Do you guys remember? Do the city fathers in the movie actually say anything? Because I don't remember them actually speaking.
No. They claw up his chest,
right?
And then they look scary and kind of like monstery, but you see them in flashes of darkness and stuff.
The city father dialogue is given to the
The train
guy
man.
that drives the train.
Yeah.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
He says, "Serve in silence."
And he has that great line, "Please step away from the meat."
Yeah.
I love that line.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and was it was it the story or the screenplay where Mahogany's head is like thrown over and it says like a football?
That is the story.
That's the story. And I wonder if when he said football he meant a soccer ball. You know,
probably.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Clive
He was
English.
Yeah, he was still in England at the time.
Yeah.
Even though it was an American story, he didn't know,
Right.
Yeah.
The old thing where in Europe football is called football, in America it's called soccer.
Yeah.
And then you guys call football something you play with your hands, but in America we call it American football.
Well, they do kick the ball.
Or rugby.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So it was just one. He just, even though it was a story taking place in America, he didn't have any way of knowing maybe that.
So you two guys have signed editions, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I like I said, like you were saying, Ryan, I was a little suspicious about whether or not I was, this book was going to be interesting. So I went for the cheaper. Hardcover gift edition. So, but I'm not. I don't regret it. It's still good. It's nice.
Yeah. So, and one thing I thought was interesting is the screenplay. His name is Leon Kirby, and I was wondering why was it changed away from Kaufman, other than, I guess, because they wanted to make it not a Jewish name. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I got this feeling from the Jeff Bueller introduction to the script that he changed some names because he wanted to put in some references, like Jurgis. Jurgis's name is actually inspired from this character from another movie, right?
Yeah.
Let me just see here.
Actually, is it a book called The Jungle?
Yes.
Yeah, The Jungle.
Leon's best friend is named after Jurgis Rudkus, the immigrant meat worker from Upton Sinclair's shocking novel The Jungle. Exposed the horrific conditions of Chicago meat yards of the late 19th century. So who knows? Maybe he changed it to Kirby because of some other reference that he wanted to make. But then, we don't know what that is. Could be.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd have to see the credits again because nobody ever says his last name, as far as I know, in the movie.
True.
They always just call him Leon.
The really exciting thing about Midnight Meat Train is that it has Bradley Cooper playing Leon, and now Bradley Cooper is a Oscar-nominated
sniper.
Yeah, for the sniper, and also for Silver Linings, I think. That movie he did with Jennifer Lawrence.
He's like big time.
Yeah,
and
so that's cool.
Whenever my stepsister posts stuff about him, I'm always like, oh, well, here he is in the Midnight Meat Train getting his tongue ripped out.
Yeah. Just like whenever I see Man of Steel, I think, oh, there's the guy from Hellraiser 8.
I did not realize until you brought that up. I really did not know that.
Yeah, he's the guy he's one of the kids from Hellraiser 8.
Yeah, it was a really shameful performance, too, in Hellraiser 8.
I think it was one of his first movies, maybe.
Well, and if it's bad directing, I don't know. It seems like the director's not. I don't know. The director's not really that terrible because other people, like in Deader, there were some decent performances in that movie, even though it wasn't a good movie.
Well, sure. I mean, there's directors who are good at directing scenes, and there are others who are very good at directing actors. Like one that's very good at actor directing is the guy from The Hobbit.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. He's a great actor-director. He always, if you see like the production diaries, he's very clear to the actors on what he wants them to perform. So, but like you said, I mean, Hellworld is not Rick Boda. He's very technically competent. I mean, the movie is technically nice, but it's just a story that falls apart, and
Well, and I thought when he directed Deader, I thought that the main actress for Deader was a pretty good performer.
Yeah. She was a veteran of horror films. So she played the journalist. I forgot the name of the actress.
Me too. She's also a singer, right?
I think so. She's something Carrie Woorer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing that bugged me, so going back to the script again, there was a scene of Mahogany fighting, it says a guardian angel, and it's like, what is that? What does a guardian angel mean? What is it that
I don't know, yeah.
I didn't understand that at all. It's like, is that supposed to be like a Hell's Angel, or is that some kind of gang thing? I didn't
I think
get it.
because in the movie, originally, they got the UFC fighter Rampage Jackson to play the part, and he's wearing some kind of like hat, and he looks like some kind of maybe perhaps a gang.
Yeah,
it looks like some kind of
Well, I kind of wonder if Clive Barker and Kitamura read that, and they're like, I don't know what that means.
What is this? Is this in the shooting script?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I skipped that part.
Yeah, it was a fight with a guardian angel, and he was the one that knifed Mahogany, and
or
wait,
Mahogany gets all sick and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things I didn't like that much about the movie was the fact that they made Mahogany have this weird disease that made him grow these tumors all over his torso.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they put that in there for a bit of a shock effect, but I thought that was weird, and I didn't really understand what was the point of that.
Yeah, I like it for that reason, because it's weird and it's not explained.
I guess
they talk about that in the commentary.
Yeah.
A lot of people come up to him and are like, what does all this mean? And they're like, we have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
they don't know themselves. So they just put it in there.
Right.
But it was in some of the internal monologue of Mahogany in the short story that he was sick. Yeah, he was sick from exposure to those guys for so long, but they didn't really explain it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I understand that the intent of this scene was probably to show us that he was on his way out because he was sick. I just didn't understand what was that supposed to be, because they never really explained to us. They don't give us any indication of what that might be or how he got that kind of weird disease.
Well, and also the super strength, I think, is a new thing for the movie that wasn't really in the short story, and like him living, for all the way back from the 1800s.
Right.
Wasn't a thing in the short story. He was just a regular guy.
Yeah, he was just a regular Joe who didn't really speak much. But you know what? Even though it did not match, Vinnie Jones did not match my mental image of Mahogany, but I still think that Vinnie Jones managed to convince me that he could be Mahogany.
Yeah.
Because I think he really did a good job. Yeah.
Well, and same with Leon Kaufman too. I mean, that didn't really match the description of Leon from the story, but he did it. It was performed really well. Yeah,
and I remember when Fangoria set up this auction online. They were streaming it online, and you could participate in this Fangoria auction, and they were auctioning off a lot of stuff from Midnight Meat Train. And one of our friends from the Fifth Dominion Forum, Doug, I think his name was Darth Ackett.
Darth Ackett.
Nickname, yeah. He bought Mahogany's bag, I think, along with some of the rubber mallets and knives that Mahogany
cool.
uses. Yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah, and I remember they had a mountain of skulls for sale as well, and it was like transportation will be responsibility of the buyer.
You got to rent a dump truck.
It was huge, and they did sell it. I think they sold it for like $250 or something like that. It was a hollow thing made of fiberglass and stuff and painted.
Yeah.
But that thing is huge. I mean, the only place you can put that is in someone's backyard.
Yeah. So, that's pretty neat.
I was going to tell you guys, I was just, kind of curious what the Guardian Angels were. Mm-hmm. It has something to do with military.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just looked it up. Okay. It says, the Soldiers Guardian Angels are a group of volunteers dedicated to honoring and supporting those served in wars.
Oh, okay. So, awesome. Yeah. I think I remember that they also did something where they would counter-protest the Westboro Baptist Church, and they would just make a circle around the funeral, and they wouldn't let anybody pass. I think I remember hearing about those guys. So, yeah, that's cool.
Okay. And then the afterword by Clive Barker. So I had remembered the story that he fell asleep and then he woke up and he was like way off in Far Rockaway Station. I didn't remember that it was a special like express train that skipped him past all of those stops.
Right.
I remember the story differently.
Yeah, well, sometimes they, the writers come up with different versions of the story.
Yeah.
But, that's what's on the afterward, that he got into this train and he was going to check out New York. And instead he got into the train that didn't stop at any stations until he reached Far Rockaway.
Yeah.
So the driver got out and was like, man, this is as far as we're going. You need to get off.
Yeah.
I don't like subways, and that's one of the reasons why I love that story, because it creeps me out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I went through a phase where I didn't like to get on subways, especially when it's like the summer and it's like rush hour, because people just get you just get this feeling like you're a sardine inside a can,
Yeah.
Because there's only standing room and everybody's like pushing against you, and it's claustrophobic a little bit. But normal trains are okay. But it's just the subways that sometimes I get this like feeling of claustrophobia.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I've just seen, there's some videos I've seen of people. This woman, I don't know what was her problem. I don't know if she was on drugs or something, but she just tripped out and she acted like she was possessed or something and just started beating up on this guy who was eating some Pringles. I mean,
oh, wow.
I mean,
there's a lot of weird videos
I'll have to
like that.
share that video to y'all.
Yeah.
Because it's really bizarre.
Ryan, you were in Japan. I mean, you surely saw people riding subways, and there's actually subway people who are paid to push people inside for the doors to close, right?
Yeah, I think that's that's mostly in Tokyo. I was in Kobe, and I made one trip to Kyoto and one trip to Osaka. And,
right.
But I didn't see that quite so much.
Is Kobe where the Kobe steaks come from?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yep. I wrote on them a little bit.
There is a $25 edition also that Dark Regions is. It's not signed though.
Oh
yeah. In the back of my book, there's a list of the different editions. It said unsigned gift hardcover edition was $29.95. 450 signed and numbered hardcovers, $50. I guess those are the ones you guys have.
Yeah. That's one I got.
And then there were 66 deluxe slipcase numbered hardcovers, which went for $200.
No, that's too much.
And finally, the 13 ultra deluxe tray-cased lettered hardcovers that were sold for $1,300.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So,
$1,300 for a book.
Had to pass.
I know. Yeah, you could get a car for that.
Not a very good car.
Rent.
Yeah. Well, a POS, but still.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But it's great. I mean, I advise you, if you like the story, if you have the movie, if you saw the movie and you enjoyed it, just get this book, because this book has a lot of good stuff in it. It's got paintings by Clive Barker, sketches, the script, the story, and all these like behind-the-scenes introductions and afterwards and forwards. So
yeah, and I think it was a mistake to say to dismiss it just because you already have the Books of Blood. I think take a look at what's inside it and see if it might be something you'd be interested in.
Absolutely, it's not a cash grab by any means.
No way.
No, they did a lot of work for this, and apart from the fact that my book has the cover that was bound the wrong way, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend getting this book if you're at all interested in the Midnight Meat Train artwork and the movie and story behind it and the screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite part of the book. If you're into screenwriting or anything like that, I think that's a good thing for screenwriters to look at and see how the screenplays are written and how it evolves into the movie.
It's the definitive edition of Clive Barker's classic story from Books of Blood. That's what it says here in the cover, and it still brings the Stephen King quote in the back cover on my copy. What Barker does in Books of Blood makes the rest of us look like we've been asleep for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
He's an original. And my only regret is, if I could, I would probably go back and add an extra $20 to my order, and gotten one of the signed and number hardcovers.
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive, so that's why I was excited about it.
Yeah, it was $50, but we ended up having a shorter episode this week, but that's fine because there's really not much more we can talk about this book. Without spoiling it for everybody. So go get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
You can reach us on the web at www.clivebarkercast.com. Leave us a review on iTunes. We're on Podomatic, Xbox Music Store, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Doubletwist, Blackberry, and Pocketcast. Like our page on Facebook and join the Occupy Midian group. On Twitter, we're at BarkerCast and at Occupy Midian. The forum is www.clivebarkerfans.com/forum. Opening theme by Colin Lacativa.